Hello YouTube, the Eye of Stone here, and today we are at the destination, which is the final big show level of Rush, which is a awesome kick-ass mod for Doom 2. I'm doing this one of my dear friends has asked me to do this level, so here we are. Certainly start this level off with a crowd of frenemies, pretty crammed. You want to get here where we are bottlenecking this crowd, where you have room to dodge to the left and the right, and they're bottlenecked, so they're coming at you, but there's too many of them and they can't get out of their own way, and they're bottlenecked, they're coming at you slowly. You have room to dodge their incoming fire. Now here, you've got plenty of room to dance, so you don't need to make things linear, but I have found it's a general truism of Doom that if you're going to have a crowd coming at you, if possible, and often it is not possible, sometimes you have to fight them in the field, oftentimes it's crammed, but if you have a crowd coming after you, you want a space where you can strafe to the right and the left, and you have corners on the right and the left that you can hide behind, like if there's guided revenant fire or if there's an Archi, an Archivile in the crowd. You want to be able to move to the right and left while you're laying waste to an incoming army. That's just a general truism in Doom. If it's possible to do it, that's a very strong strategy. Otherwise, Doom Guy's great strength, his greatest strength, I would argue, is his speed and agility. My buddy who requested this video made a very good point that Doom has this masterful balance in that there's your firepower. The point of my friend's argument is that there's their firepower and your firepower. There's like a tool for every task. So if you have too many shotgunners in a room for your own shotgun, just aim right and use the super shotgun, and you'll take them all out. And, again, if you have a linear situation like this, where there's a lot of them and they have to come straight at you, use rockets, use the BFG, dodge their fire, and they can't dance the way you do. They don't have cover the way you do. Can you see that? How I'm using this corner here to block their incoming fire, and now they're trying to turn and come at me, so they're bumping into themselves there too. I can use that corner for cover. They cannot. When they're coming down these linear lanes at me, they don't have cover or concealment. With those corners, I have both. So if you can manipulate the circumstances, you should always try to do that. That's one of those strategies that, if practicable, it always works. This game strikes a balance, or rather, this level is what I'm trying to say. This level strikes a good balance between letting you do the strategy I just described and forcing you to dance around in open air spaces where there's a shit ton. The air is thick with guided revenant missiles. This level strikes a good balance between giving you plenty of both to play with, and then there's one area that is extraordinarily claustrophobic. And then there's some hybrid areas. This is an extraordinarily awesome level. It's the sort of big show at the end of a very awesome WAD. I did not go onto the net and refresh myself with names the way I should have in setting out to make this video, so that's on me. I will, in the description, I will have a link to the Doomworld id Games website where you can download this WAD if you want to play it, and you can learn more about the author who made this. Rush itself is 12 or 13 levels, and it is very deserving of respect. It's awesome, fun game to play. I'm told that much like Vanguard before it, this is something that was designed to be a full 32-level Mega WAD, and that's just not how it ended up going. I don't know what it is with these awesome authors throwing in the towel after only 12 levels. What is it about that number? I do wish this had been a 32-level Mega WAD. I will say that. I felt the same way about Vanguard, which Vanguard was certainly not a Slaughter WAD, but its final level superstructure kind of was. This Rush has been described as a Slaughterish WAD, and that's not an editorial statement. If you are not familiar with Slaughter WADs, I certainly, me personally, I cannot think of a better introduction to Slaughter WADs than Rush. Assuming a decent level of skill on the part of a player, if Slaughter WADs are something you think you want to get into, but you have zilch experience, I would start with something like Rush, honestly. That would be my arrogant suggestion. This level, in addition to being, decently challenging and stimulating, is also very ornate. It's one of the things that my friend really liked about it, and that I like about it. It is very, so much attention to detail and thought obviously went into, really being a true designer and making an experience out of this. You can make a perfectly, a level that is extremely challenging, extremely smart from a theoretical perspective, but it would still look boring. Here there's a lot of amazing ideas, and it looks beautiful too. This guy is smart. He's really sharp. He understands Doom. And, he makes it look great. So, you'd think I'd be able to remember the guy's name. Shame on me, but I will put the necessary info in the link in the description. So, this passage right here, with these flaming pits that you have to dart across to lower the BFG, we do not play these levels. This is not the type of game, this is not the type of Doom game you play because it is easy. You play this because it is difficult. To paraphrase JFK, you like this being punishing and frustrating and hard. I'm not a terribly... I am recording this commentary after the fact, by the way. I was not going to be sitting here babbling at the same time that I was... this is a level that does command your full attention, and it does deserve your full attention and your focus. So I came back and did the commentary. In this case, I did the commentary after the fact. It's, however tautological and annoying the commentary might already be, it would have been a lot suckier if I had been trying to negotiate playing the level and babbling at the same time. But you'll notice that I got the first switch thrown the first time, and now it's going to take me however many tries it takes, but so what? We do it till we get it right. We don't give up. We don't get tired. We do not get fatigued. We do not get discouraged. When we're playing a level like this, we don't have those weaknesses. The trick, I think, is you need to be moving at full speed when you trigger that switch, and you need to either lose no speed in doing so or lose just a fraction of a speed. Doom Guy has to accelerate. You do not go from 0 to full instantly. It takes time to accelerate, and when you are accelerating, you are moving. It so happens that compared to how fast he can go when he's at full speed, when you're accelerating, it's a lot slower. And this puzzle right here, if you ask me, it seems that this puzzle is the key to this. The solution to this puzzle is get that switch thrown without a resulting prohibitive loss of Doom Guy's speed. His fast speed is pushed to the limit here to solve this puzzle. You oftentimes are riding on the top of those columns, and you have to get that switch thrown before it reaches the top. Like that. Okay, so there is the big fucking gun. My fucking gun! And there is our new friends. And I just took a nice double dose of particle cannons. You know, I have another Doom level that I did just because, again, it was so epically awesome. MAP12 of TNT Revolution. Awesome megawad that finally they did make 32 levels out of it. Awesome megawad, awesome level from an awesome megawad. I did a video about that one too. And lost my train of thought here. One question I raised in that video, and that I'm still very curious to know, if you are an aged gamer like me, you might have played Wing Commander 2, which was a space combat simulator, a very iconic franchise in its own right, and one of those pivotal genre-defining franchises. Keiko demons shoot particle cannons at you. If you've played Wing Commander, the Keiko demon's energy ball is a particle cannon, and Doom, Doom knee deep in the dead. The ultimate Doom 1, and Wing Commander are kind of coterminous. I don't really know which was first. I'd have to look that up, but Keiko demons shoot particle cannons. Now, id Software is not Origin Systems. However, John Romero did work at Origin, and I wonder if that right there is the key to why Keiko demons shoot particle cannons. It stuns me that nobody has ever bothered to ask that question, because I would think that most people who played Wing Commander also played Doom, and the internet being what it is, I would think you'd I have not been able to find the answer to that question. It seems like it's a question that's asked. These things matter. You don't when you have a swarm of revenants like this, you just don't rush in. I'm sorry. because what I'm doing right now isn't necessarily the badass thing, but, you know, if you want to rush into a swarm of Archviles and trust the BFG's okay rate of fire, be my guest, but that gets expensive ammo-wise, and, you know, if you're holding the fire button down, yes, you can get a decent rate of fire with the BFG, and it does a shit ton of damage, but there is a pause, and, you know, those Revenants get that air thick with those rockets pretty quickly. And, you know, when you have 50 homing rockets, you want to, you know, you're not going to be standing there with a 20 millimeter cannon like Rambo, just mowing them all down. Frankly, if this were that kind of game, I wouldn't be playing it. You know, if this level wasn't also, I was very much, you know, taken with this level. If I weren't, I wouldn't have done this video. You know, I still have to like the thing. I really enjoyed this level, so, you know, okay, I'll do the video. But if this were a game where you're just shooting fish in a barrel and, you know, the demons were not a threat to you, it would not hold my interest. I do not want to be an invincible fighting machine. I want things to fight me. I want them to fight back. I want them to show a lot of life. And I want them to be dangerous. If I'm not at risk of dying, like I am right now, I'm not having fun. You know? So what if you take damage, and so what if you die? You know, now I have, you know, this level was interesting enough to me that I did a hell of a lot better the time, you know, when this footage was shot, the time previous to this, I had done a hell of a lot better. This is okay. Not great. But, is decently familiar with this level, which, you know, it's relatively recently that I played this, and it's a big-ass level. But it was interesting enough that I gave this level some attention, and I guess it's probably better that I did make a video about it than not. So again, we have a situation where we don't really have a swarm. This is hardly a bottlenecking traffic jam, but it does put such demons as there are. You know, again, we have revenants who can fire, can bring guided rockets to bear on you. So that corner back there is useful. I'm not short on shells, so those specters and imps don't stand a chance. Now this, you know, in a room like this where those revenants are completely, you know, if you try lobbing too many rockets through those windows, you're just going to ricochet the rocket off the ledge there, and you're going to eat your own damage. It's actually not that easy to get accurate fire on those revenants from those windows. So if you're going to be trying to do that, you need to stay in motion, because again, they're going to get guided missiles coming right at you. I prefer to use GZ Doom, honestly. It's the platform I'm most familiar with. My computer, as I have said on many occasions, is old and banged up. And GZ Doom, considering it's just Doom you're playing, that was smart. Anyway, GZ Doom is kind of resource heavy. And with my computer in the shape it's in, even now, 21 years in the 21st century, if I'm running fraps on top of GZ Doom, my computer is in bad enough shape that it causes frame rate problems. So, for the purposes of this video, I used Pro Boom Plus and fraps and really turned a lot of stuff off on my machine. And it is better. It is better than GZ Doom would have been, but not great. And getting this to where it needed to be also took some doing. But I'm not going to bore everybody with that. I prefer to use Doom's software renderer. The graphics just look more classic that way. But Pro Boom is not, it seems, amenable to that. I really don't have much experience using Pro Boom. GZ Doom generally works better, although the Oku Pluck Slaughter Wad, I could not get it to run stably on GZ Doom. On Pro Boom, ran just fine. Pro Boom is markedly less rough on system resources. That much is certain. The OpenGL graphics just look weird. The colors are a little bit different, and, things are just a bit flatter. In recent years of playing Doom, I have come to rely on the Super Shotgun a great deal. Its low rate of fire necessitates you to stay on your feet and to dodge, which is good practice. And, in claustrophobic situations, it does a fuck ton of damage. If you're accurate. If you're accurate, it's a devastator. The shotgun in Doom already is a great equalizer, but if you can stay on your feet and learn how to manage the super shotgun's relatively low rate of fire, it can be a devastating weapon. You just have to keep circumstances such that you have enough space to dodge the amount of fire you're going to be receiving. And, the principle is in a relatively linear situation where they're coming at you, it's sort of just General Lee's slow retreat. You're backing up slowly. You're strafing left and right to dodge the fire, and you're just chipping away at them. And, you can keep the ranges relatively close, so they're just eating 18 pellets of double-aught buckshot right in the face. Wonderful. Wonderful. Splendid. Absolutely splendiferous. Doom is such a nice game. Us human beings. I don't know. As bad as the demons are, when I play this game, I'm worse. When you play this game, you're worse. Whether you win or whether you lose. Because if you lose, you're just going to get angry and come back and play till you win. And if you win, then, you found yourself in a level where there were demons, and they did their thing and you did your thing, and if you won, and those were the circumstances that prevailed. And the demons, they don't show any mercy, but they never ask for it. They take what comes, and if you like playing Doom, you do the same as a player. You know, when a demon dies, 9 times out of 10, unless there's an Archvile around, when a demon dies, it's dead. Human players, you know, we die and then we reload. So, you know, you've got more tooth than you think you do. When you're playing Doom Guy, you're bad news. You know, it all goes back to, you know, id just, there's no other way to say it. They, you know, id took being an apex predator and they turned it into a video game. You know, Wolfenstein 3D was the first iteration of that. You know, it's not nice, that's for sure, but you know, no one's gonna feel too much sympathy for a bunch of Nazis. So does that make it okay to enjoy killing them, or is that sort of just a little fiat right there? You know, after all, because you know, you do enjoy killing them. Let's not be, you know, let's not be a splish splosh about this. These games make it real easy for you to just, you know, let the impulse exhaust itself. You know, you kill until it becomes tedious. You kill until it becomes tiresome. And then, you know, 30 to 48 hours later, you come back and do it all over again. I mean, that's what these games are. You know, let's not be confused. You know, in this new conversation we're trying to have, let's not get confused or distracted. Whether or not this is whatever this Doom thing is or isn't, you know, it's like, well, anyone who's played it, you know, look what you did. Anyone who played any first-person shooter, you know, some of the conspiracy people were railing about kill sims, man. You know, there's probably something to that. But, you know, it ends up being an oh well type of situation, and that is not, outside of Doom, that is not the type of person I am at all. I'm, you know, outside of Doom, I'm the sort of the polar opposite of that. But sit me down in front of a PC and load this game up, I'm not nice. I'm bad news. It's just, you know, demons are on the receiving end of that. You know, not even adversary humans are on the receiving end of that, because I don't really do first-person shooters anymore besides Doom or Wolf 3D, both of which I play just because I'm old and obsolete. I care to continue playing these games, as many people do, but I'm not really into first-person shooters. And when I play Thief, which is what I'm really known for, I'm very merciful. I, you know, will do my damnedest usually to knock somebody out rather than kill them, and or avoid a confrontation if possible. Now, Thief 4, that's different, but Thief 4 is not a computer game. Thief 4 is a four-wheeled unicycle, is what Thief 4 is. Now, a lot of revenants here. These columns and this fresh dose of rockets render this fairly easy. You want to find ways to try to stay on the periphery of that block of columns there, and you either dance by the blood fountain. If you're gonna really, it's like it's risky. You go in there, you could get stuck in a hell with a Hell Knight. Now, if you're willing to waste a BFG blast, okay, but generally speaking, you want to pick a side of that little maze of columns there, and the demons get stuck on each other in there. It slows them down, and you've got space enough on this blood fountain that you're not going to get cornered. It just takes a little bit longer to kill all of them now. You got to be careful out here because at no time flat, the air is going to be thick with guided missiles, or they're rockets you fire, or if you, in GZ Doom, they're referred to as fireballs. Pardon my imprecision. Whatever. They're guided projectiles. But I love the cavernous, this place is vast, but it's also deep underground. This is a beautifully designed level. No, I used up all the rockets. No more rockets. Alright, so kind of getting low on the shot shells there, bro. Let's start a fight if we can. This is I want to be able to come through here again if I need to. So we'll eliminate the Hell Knights, more or less, but this is starting to, I'm beginning to lose this battle. I think we might just withdraw for the time being. Okay, so I seldom have levels completely memorized. I mean, the classic 4 commercial Doom games, that's different, but I don't quite have this map memorized. I know it, but there wasn't too much meandering this time. I wish I'd been recording my jaunt of this level last time. Now, it's kind of interesting that here you have these long linear spaces, but they don't swarm you exactly. I mean, yes, you get a bunch of friends in here, okay, you can't necessarily get out easy, but the stairs are not stuffed with demons. What they have instead is demons on either side on these ramps that they're not going to be meleeing you, but it's kind of an awkward angle to be shooting at them, whereas they're triangulating fire on you from 2 different sides of the room. So you've got to pick them off, and it's awkward. it's harder to dodge. You know, in a typical situation where they're swarming you from the stairs, they would be firing at you from a much limited angle, whereas since they're on both sides and they're projectile demons, i.e. revenants and hell knights, they've got fire coming in at you from, you know, they have a better, in this place, if you're on the stairs, they have you in a crossfire. If you're outside of the room, they sort of have a bigger cone of fire on you this time. So, you know, they could have done something, the author here could have done something formulaic and just swarmed you in this room from two crowds on the stairs. Instead, he tried to do something a little more cerebral. It's like, you know, it's not dense, so you want to just rush through it. But if you get in there, you start to get cut up. You know, if you just run in there and start dealing with them all at once, you get cut up pretty quickly. You do better to pick them off. Yeah, you don't rush. You never rush. Even in a WOD called Rush. You know, I got interested in it. So I've probably told this story, but in 2016, I kind of got bit by the bug and started, you know, I can't remember. I had flirted with Z-Doom, but I think that by 2016, if memory serves, it was already Z-Doom. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I can't remember. But anyway, 2016 was when I got serious. I bought Wolf 3D and Spear of Destiny, which is its sequel, on Steam. Got Doom up and running again, and you know, I was chipping away at it. Well, then in January of 2017, I got a divorce. I'm an open book about it. It's okay. And all of a sudden, I had a lot more free time on my hands. And, you know, it was a state of being that was conducive to sitting at the computer trying to avoid real issues. So that was my, you know, I went through Doom, the Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, Plutonia, TNT, Wolf 3D, Spear of Destiny. I went through all that again several times. I actually did it 3 times on Ultraviolence and I Am Death Incarnate, and just sort of thawed myself out of stasis, or was reborn into Doom. And that was, you know, once I went through all that, that was sort of like a wings to fly. So then I started looking into fan content, and, you know, I had known generally that Doom had continued to be a thing, and that it had a very healthy, very large, you know, international fandom. I still was unprepared for just how much fan-made Doom stuff there is out there. I mean, golly, there's more of it than any one person could play in an entire lifetime, I'm sure. And also how awesome it is. You know, these levels are a blast to play. They look great. And, you know, the music people write for these Doom, you know, fan games. I mean, you know, there's bad Doom. There's, you know, to be stereotypical about it, there's the classic 1994 wads, and since then there's been other bad Doom, but on the whole, the Doom content I've played has just been stunningly good. So once I got to fan content, I cut my teeth on Plutonia 2 and on Plutonia Revisited Community Project, and TNT Revolution came out, and that's just really like that one. Eve Eternity, Vivictus, Memento Mori, Bloodstain. I don't know that I will ever quite be caught up with Doom again, just because there's there's so much that's been made, but I'm beginning to get a portfolio of megawads of awesome, good, very strong fan megawads that I've played, and I'm just taking it at my own pace. I'm not a speedrunner at all. Not pro Doom or anything like that. Just casual. I describe my playstyle as casual, friggin' slow UV max. All I ever try to do is I try to kill everything. I try to find all the secrets. That doesn't always happen, but generally speaking, that's the goal. Is to kill everything and find all the secrets. And there are apparently in some cases a connotation of when we say UV max, some for some that means and do it as fast as possible. I am not a fast player. I am a slow player. But if you wanted to call it slow UV max, that would be my intent. I sure didn't pull that off this time. But generally that's, what I go for. Slow UV max, lazy UV max, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I love the fact that this thing is cavernous and huge, but it's underground. I really dig that. And I said it earlier, I do wish that this were 32 levels and that he had done, the inter-episode, screens, and that there was at least a suggestion of what the story here is. Because looking at a level like this, I can't help but think that at one point there, this level, especially that first level, the first few frozen levels of this game really do suggest to me, and this level, that, okay, at some point in the development of Rush, there was very much supposed to be a story here. Maybe I could be wrong, but these levels look to me like there was supposed to be a story here. I would like to know that story. Things like Eve Eternity, for example, is not. It's like I'm behind the times. Eve Eternity is by no means new anymore. Plutonia 2 is not new. Now Akeldama, which is what I'm playing through now, that is like a year or two old, so that is relatively current. I like Akeldama. Akeldama is very well balanced. The skill level, the difficulty level increases in a very reasonable manner. I like Akeldama. It's a very sort of classic style, but it's very new. So that is a much newer Megawad that I'm playing. But, if you haven't played Eve Eternity, you should, because wow, there was a new editor tool set that they used, and there's a lot of story, although cryptic story, in that game, and they just took the look of it. The levels are challenging and exhilarating to play, and they really took the look in a very different direction. You know, I'd never seen a level like... I'd never seen a Doom game like Eve Eternity before. Okay, so nasty little surprise here. But I did not dodge successfully. He's gonna get you. I was lucky. That Arch Vile Blast only took 10 health. Nice little stash back here. Another big riot to deal with. But now, see again, this corner, there's a lot of demons here. And I'm not in terribly good shape. So there's this sort of S-shaped, there's this S-shaped corridor that I'm going to force them to come through. I'm trying to conserve some of my heavier ammo. So, I'm using the double barrel. So it's kind of slow and tedious, but, you know, now that's not how it's supposed to go. Eating Revenant rockets at point blank range is not, that's not supposed to happen. I meant to do that. Yeah, no. You want to try to avoid that. May have started a little fight there. You have the advantage in a maze like this. You just have to not blow yourself up or get cornered with no ammo, or lack the motivation to flee when a rocket's coming after you. All right. Now, by no means do I get everywhere or kill everything. I will have left a decent number of stragglers in my wake, and certainly not have found every secret in this level. I think I got a little over 90% this time. We'll see. I'm watching us do this. I forget. When we get to the end, we'll be able to see what my numbers actually were. So now we're going to believe we're going to no, not yet. There's a extraordinarily crammed room that's just demons everywhere. It's absolutely thick with them. I thought that's what we were going to launch into, but not yet. We've got to get that key. And the problem is the demons out there, I did not take all of them out because I was not really in a condition to do so at the time, but now they're going to be swarming that ledge and trying to jump off that ledge is going to result in me getting it carved to death. So I needed to be able to jump off of here and not get caught, like so. Now, grab the key. Not really going to make any pretense of winning this fight in terms of attrition. In fact, at this point, I was about to die, and only made it out by the skin of my teeth. Well, I didn't literally die, you know. I pacified this area. So now, we're in some sense a third of the way there with the yellow key. So now we need to heal up before we do anything else, and the best way to heal up is actually to go to what is arguably the most dangerous area of this game, although I think actually that it's not. And I will point out what I think is when we get there. But if this next area that we're going to isn't the most dangerous, it's certainly the second most dangerous. So, fortunately for us, it starts with a megasphere. Okay.
What a pleasant surprise.
Just let him have it. Do the best you can, hope for the best. I was sure I'd lost everything with that hit. I was sure that was going to be a KO. That Ebony Mancubus had taken a lot of damage. Those Ebony Mancubuses can tank more damage than regular ones can. It takes 5 or 6 rockets to kill them, whereas a normal Mancubus takes about 3. The Ebony ones, they dish out a hell of a lot more firepower. So getting accurate fire on that cyber demon is going to be difficult, and I'm really in no. Even if I had the rounds for it, trying to go in for a cyber kill would be extraordinarily risky. I'm too banged up to try it. And sort of chip away at those stragglers over there. That's not going to do it, but take out those imps. That was kind of a skin of the teeth thing with that rocket there. Come on. Alright, there we go. Took him out. Well, that's a good way to waste rockets, but you know what? We've got more rockets down there. Yeah, I got some fire on him. I think we killed him. Boy, did you see that? One of the things that happens in Advanced Doom is you are hunting cyber demons with the super shotgun. Okay, so now I do not want to have survived all this, either to die in the poison or to eat another another revenant rocket. Don't want to go out under those circumstances. Boy, I would have fired my keyboard or monitor if that had happened. So we're already back up to 50 rockets. Okay, now this room was a pain in the ass. You know, I did so much better with this the time before. I really wish I had recorded the run of this level I did before this one. This time, this just turned into a pain. This time, I really did not remember this part being so tedious. Things go downhill pretty fast here. So that window is narrow enough that it kind of sucks for you. If you start launching rockets out that window, you're going to catch one of those corners and blow yourself up. As long as those Keiko demons are close by, you can feed them a face full of buckshot if they're close, but far out, then you're pumping away with the single barrel and it's tedious. Two for two. Think DQ, that's the thing to do. Still got a spider demon mastermind out there. Gonna take a chance on some rockets because I was really getting impatient at this point. This had taxed my patience. Finally. I decided to let that guy live as long as he was firing on the spider demon. Now, here I wanted to figure out if I was going to try to peekaboo from there, and then I came over here and there was this idea of, was I going to try to do this, and realized that I couldn't really get the angle right. So I just broke down and did this and took a bunch of damage. That spider demon had suffered precious little damage, actually. Top off the plasma. And then run like hell. But you've got to sort of start a fight, because if you're up here staying alive and the Barons did not bring any fire to bear on those cyber demons, they won't start firing at each other because the Barons will pitch their fire too high to hit the cyber demons because they're fighting at you. So yes, I was a cheap camping piece of scum and let the cyber demons do most of my work for me, but under these present circumstances I would not have lasted long down there. So we got to sit here and spectate while the Barons get turned into Pepto-Bismol. Cyber demons were firing on them, but they weren't terribly aggressive. And I just ate a bunch of fire unnecessarily. Why that happened, I don't know. It's because I was impatient. I wanted to go for that key, is what I wanted to do. They're almost dead. 2 cyber demons eventually wore those guys down. Well, I wasn't able to really see very clearly if it was both of them firing or just one. I forget. Not very accurate fire. I was really beginning to get impatient because now they're firing at me again. They're losing interest in each other. Just decide to go for it. Now, admittedly, this was a rather cheap trick that I used here. I even almost considered not doing it, but wasted shot. But, you know, if you had had 2 cyber demons hunting you, I bet you in a real situation anybody would be as cheap as I just was there. I kind of would put my money on that. Now, by comparison, this swarm of imps was just nothing. You don't want to get crowded in by those revenants. Gotta kill enough of them to get the hell out of there. You definitely don't want to be between 2 swarms, but again, now I have the advantage. I've got enough rockets to hold them off, and I've got space to dodge and corners to hide behind. All too easy. There's a lot of them, but again, need to not lose interest in dodging. Dodging is not optional. If you don't dance, they're gonna hit you. I really like the music that went along with this level. The track was a bit short, but it was very mystical and meditative, and I did like the music. I played this level without it though, because for a level this size, the piece was short enough that it gets repetitive. So now we are 2/3 of the way there with our blue and yellow skull keys, and as dangerous as that crowded room with the cyber demon was, and as dangerous as the room we were just in, those levels, those areas were both intense. But if you ask me, really, this right here is the hardest point. It's just, things get complicated. You've got these towers that spawn multiple revenants apiece, and you've got a big horde coming at you. And you have room to dance in this little fort here, but you only have so much room. You've kind of got several different things going on. Oh, and by the way, to our left, you've got another 2 cyber demons and more barons. And there's an Arch Vial nearby, and then you've got another swarm of revenants after this one, and you've got Ebony Mancubuses and Arachnotrons. If you ask me, this is all about the red key now, and if you ask me, this is actually the hardest part of the level, or the most complicated part, whatever you want to call it. So, I don't rush out like a fool. You just gotta deal with it. Go through these motions. Resource conservation is sort of an issue in this segment of the level. You don't want to run out of ammo. Got a lot of heavyweights in here. Woo! It's close. Alright, so got to start chipping away at those revenant towers. I think each of those towers spawns 2 of them. One thing I don't like about Pro Boom is that Pro Boom doesn't let you aim for higher targets at nearly the same distance that GZ does. Found that kind of annoying. Rockets will go flat in this game in places where they would arc upwards. I mean, Doom is a 2D, 2.5D engine. It's not actually true 3D, and I know that, but these various platforms seem to handle that a little bit differently. Yeah, and I'm not terribly familiar with Pro Boom. This is the first time I've used it for a project on YouTube. This level was played on ultraviolence. So that Arch Vial you're hearing has a very long field of view because he's on a tower that's higher than these. You gotta watch those 2 cyber demons. But I don't want potentially guided rockets homing in on me from 50 directions at once. See, that spawns 2 of them apiece. Alright. Let any rockets resolve themselves. You never know. Those rockets, if there's nothing in their way, they'll follow you till they either hit you or run into something.
Revenant rockets don't get tired.
But your first target has to be that arch vial. Try to not rely on one weapon for too long, because that's a good way to run out of ammo. You only get so much ammo per battalion of demons. So this obviously is a rather hazardous place to be. Now, at this point, player fatigue was really beginning to set in. So I just, as I was pausing there, admittedly, I did leave a fair bit of stragglers in my wake, but your goal is to survive. By this point, I sort of did not see myself, between the ammo that I had left and the ammo that was still left to be found, and with how I was doing in terms of fatigue, I did decide to cut my losses and get the hell out before I ate a rocket sandwich or got burned blasted by an Archi. So I hope everybody enjoyed watching this, and I don't remember exactly what my numbers were. Let's see what I got. I will see everybody back next time. Later.